We didn't get invited. Okay, well, thank you for that. If you didn't see the email, your families lists are getting emailed tonight. Actually, I've got them scheduled to hit your inbox at 6:15. Friendly reminder about the host site portal. Everything you need to know is there, including the agenda for this meeting and other useful information. Couple of little tidbits before we get into the real agenda. We are doing a donation center. Just didn't know how to not do it because there's a lot of people that want to give. Hopefully it'll be low volume. We're not going to promote it, but we're still going to do that starting the Monday after Thanksgiving through the Friday. I think that's December 4th from 1 to 5 in the LUM office, and then we'll do it Monday and Tuesday of the next week. The agenda doesn't have locations for anything because everything's going to be in the LUM office this year. We're not going over to the school this year. Let's see, family admission letters and tickets. Haven't had time to do that yet, so those will go out as soon as possible. Hopefully, I've got the tickets done. Thank you all for replying. That was amazing, 100% response from all of you with the details for the tickets. And the letters, there's going to be 2 separate letters depending on if your host site is doing curbside or if it's doing walkthrough. So it'll be very specific for what they need to know about those 2 events and the differences, so they won't get confused. Well, I say that with great hope that they won't get confused. In the agenda, there's some interesting statistics, which I enjoy, but it also allows you to empathize with me as far as putting these lists together. This was a very, very challenging year to put the list together. We had a total of 523 families. We had space for 525, but Christmas for Everyone opened up their registration right after us, and what it did was it allowed people to jump ship from ours and join theirs. So I lost about 6 and was able to gain 4 back, but at some point we just have to stop and say, you know, I have to get the list to the churches. And the one church that was shorted, the 2, is First Christian. And I could be wrong, but I was thinking, Gay, that you guys are kind of overwhelmed with taking over this huge task. So instead of 40 families, you have 38, and maybe that lessens your burden a little bit. I don't know. I may have 2 more families for you down the road, but it's highly unlikely that we'll be adding any additional families. And a big thank you to Federated for taking on 2 more families, which allowed us to go up to the 525, even though we didn't get there, but you still have 17 families federated. So 523 families, 1,485 children, 1,225 are the 12 and younger, which really isn't that far off from last year. I think our total number was 1,600. Teens are still a big chunk of the kids we serve, and there's 260 this year. I was curious about, because I've always assumed we had a lot of downtown families, but that's absolutely not true. I did it by zip code, and the 47901 we only had 14 families versus 47905, which I guess is also downtown, 158, and the 47909 continues to be a strong zip code for us with 157, and 77 from West Side. So that's not a low number, and I think the number of low-income families is increasing daily on the West Side with the expansion of housing. There are 3 families that have no computers, so look out for that, because everything we've been doing is computer-based. So we literally had to get on the phone with these 3 parents and input all the information over the phone, including the toy list. So there will be a clear note on your list of which families those are. And there are 5 Spanish-speaking families, and I hope the Mormons don't care, but I gave you all of them. Is that okay, Becca? Where are you? So the Latter-day Saints got all 5, well, and that's 5 Spanish-speaking families that we know of. You may encounter others, and if that's a struggle for you, let us know.
We'll be fine.
You'll be fine, Becca? Good. Thank you very much. Okay, so what you'll get in your email at 6:15, you'll get the half sheet as usual. Hopefully it's in alphabetical order. My eyes have been blurry and I just finished them actually last night late. And then you'll get a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet will be Excel, so you'll be able to take that information and do what you wish with it. The half sheets are going to be a PDF that doesn't translate well into Excel, but it should have all the information you need on there. Everything was so rushed this year that I'm really counting on you all to look at those sheets and make sure I'm being honest. You all are better at looking at them sometimes than I am, so just email me back and tell me if you see any mistakes as far as counting children and things like that. We were particularly strict this year with whether or not they had custody or not. So some of you may see a lot of kids listed, but only see 3 that are actually going to get served by Jubilee Christmas because they couldn't provide guardianship or custody papers or proof that they live there, which is something we talked about after last year's Jubilee that we wanted to do, particularly with families of 6 children or more. We weren't really hard on the families that had 5 or fewer. But if they had 6, I did contact them again and ask them for birth certificates and proof of residency. And for the most part, they were very cooperative, but we did find a couple of families go from 11 children to 4 magically. So we'll see how that works out. Any questions about that or any concerns about that? That's kind of with the children and custody. That's kind of something that at LUM we feel we need to impose, but it's obviously up to you that if you feel that this family needs toys for these kids, you know, let me know that you're adding them on. But if you decide to do that, you are under no obligation to, but some of you may want to. And I'm not encouraging it, so don't mistake the tone in my voice for encouraging. I think any questions about any of that? So I'll stop there for a moment. Okay. I wasn't able to get the invoices done, and I'm almost okay with that because they change sometimes. So I'll work on those and hopefully get those to you by the end of the week. And I think I have all the information I need for that. Just a matter.
I have a question.
Yes, Gay.
Do you have my email address? Did you send the lists to me or just to the church?
I think I sent it to Michelle.
Michelle, okay. Okay.
And Andrew.
Yeah,
So I
all
sent
right.
it to Michelle.
All right, thanks.
Cool. But I probably do need your email at some point if you want to.
Okay, I'll be sure and get that to you.
Okay, great. Okay, any questions about the lists or the tickets or all that? So everything's gonna start moving pretty quickly from this point on. It's very likely that you'll contact the family before they know that they're assigned to your church. So I don't think that's an issue, and I will email them all and tell them that their letter's coming, but they might hear from you before that. And I don't blame you for reaching out as soon as possible.
Pablo,
Yes.
Kathy Case from Bethany Presbyterian.
Mhm.
Sheila is having problems with her computer, and I'm not sure if the spreadsheet was emailed to her or to myself. But she can't seem to get on the computer right now. Can that spreadsheet be sent to me?
I sent it to every email. So if you were listing
Okay, then
coordinator, you got it as well.
yep. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Okay. And actually, it just turned 6:15, so they probably are popping in your inboxes right now. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about COVID because some of you have called me with questions, and I thought I'd share with you some of the answers that I've been giving. How many people do you schedule per time slot? What we've learned from Salvation Army, they've done a couple of walkthrough and curbside events, is that 3 per 15 minutes, and don't give them a 5-minute spot, but invite 3 at 9 o'clock, say, another 3 at 15 minutes, another 3 at 9:30. That way it won't interrupt your flow. 2 will always be waiting or more, and you'll get them through. And 5 minutes seems to be a reasonable amount of time to get them in and out. And if not, you just adjust accordingly, and you may have some no-shows. But that's what I've been suggesting to folks. I can't emphasize enough that if you are working with clients, particularly those who do in curbside, that you do wear the shield in addition to the mask. The mask does protect you somewhat, but it protects them from you spreading the virus on them. But the shield will protect you from any random sneezes or anything airborne.
Pablo?
Not everything airborne, but most. Yes.
I have about 75 of the plastic shields in the back of my car. Can I get those to you?
Sure.
Okay.
And if you guys are having trouble finding shields, let me know. If you're doing walkthrough, I'd say anybody that's part of your process of handing people things should definitely be wearing a mask, a shield, and gloves. Disinfecting does not have to be disinfecting your entire facility every time someone walks out. I would, if I were you, have someone in charge of disinfecting after, and this is a walkthrough, folks. Just watch what they touch and just disinfect those surfaces and then move on. You should be fine with that. There is little evidence that it's hard to spread this virus by contact, but it is possible. So we want to disinfect, but you don't have to fumigate the whole place before you let the next group in. You also don't have to limit, unless your church leadership is limiting the number of people in your building. My feeling is if you could keep parents in the line 15 to 20 feet away, you could keep them moving through the facility, particularly if you have a straight shot through one door and out the other on a first floor, which many of you don't. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I had. Those are the kind of the questions I've had. Do you guys have any other questions about how to manage the virus? I'm going to leave it up to you whether or not you take temperatures of people that are driving up curbside. That's totally up to you. Personally, I would prefer they kept their window up and communicated with you, but that's also up to you. And obviously, if you're standing 6 to 10 feet away with a mask and a shield, you're fine with them putting their windows down. We're trying to emphasize that there should be only one adult coming in that car, but I'm gonna admit that I'm gonna find that hard to believe that they're gonna just show up with one adult in a car. So you're just gonna have to deal with that. Opening trunks could be tricky. Some open automatically, some don't. And of course, if there's kids, try to hide the gifts from the kids. Did have some questions about gift wrap. I wouldn't feel comfortable if I were a parent and I got everything gift wrapped. So I want to see what's going in. So I would not gift wrap anything. If I were you, I would give them rolls of wrap and bows and ribbon and whatever else you would normally give them, gift bags, some tape. Make sure you're not forgetting the batteries. If you've got toys that need batteries, to give them those batteries too.
Pablo,
Yeah.
I was going to go ahead and gift wrap, but I was going to hand them a code sheet and label each present and tell them what was in it. So, and in with the Christmas card, so parents have it, but we'll see how it goes. But we only have 10 versus other churches, but I figured you could write up a code sheet of what, and just label one kid as A, the 3 gifts.
Yeah,
And then
I
what
mean,
do we-
you are welcome to do whatever you'd like, Wendy.
Okay.
But
I
I'm
didn't know
telling
if
you, if I were that parent, I'd run home and I'd unwrap them.
Okay, well, maybe that's what I
mean, am
contact
I
them. I'll
wrong?
ask them if they want them wrapped or unwrapped.
What do
Yeah.
you all think? If you went and picked up wrapped gifts, would you be cool with that as a parent?
Personally,
I'd
I
rather they
think,
be unwrapped.
yeah, I think the parents would enjoy wrapping them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I part of me feels like what a great service. Can't assume that people know how to wrap. Certainly not as well as I wrap. That's where the OCD comes in handy occasionally, you see. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's totally up to you, but I think I wouldn't. Any other questions? The toy form has been quite interesting. I was going to share it with you, but I took a peek at it and it's a mess. So I'm going to go in there and see if I can clean it up a little. It's, you know, this little bit of technology is really throwing the parents off, and the ones that the ones that are very interesting are the ones that are so nervous that they're going to do it wrong and they're going to get kicked out of the program, or they're going to not get toys for their kids. And you just have to respect that on so many levels. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I got it. You didn't have to submit it 4 times, and some did. So yeah, and some actually today, this afternoon, someone took an online Google form, filled it out, printed it, put it in an envelope, drove it across town, and handed it to me. And I said, no, just sit down at a computer and put it into the database. And she said she was having trouble with her internet, so we just gave her access to a computer, and she took care of it in our office. So, but yeah, give me a day to look at that and see if I could clean it up. Those of you that have 10, 15, 20 families, I don't think you'll have a problem finding your families. Those of you that have 40, I may need to help you. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a task, so brace yourself.
Okay, so could you refresh? So then what we are getting tonight is nothing related to, we're just getting the names of the families and the names of the kids and the ages, and that is it?
Yes, yes.
So when will we have access to these toy forms potentially?
I could give you access immediately.
So then we are
right.
going to have to, like you say, search for them on app from the name of our family. Is that it?
Yes, it'll be a spreadsheet. If you looked at the form, the form looks nice, but I haven't figured out. And if someone knows Google Forms better than I, let me know or call me later. But you're going to get a spreadsheet. It's going to be a very long spreadsheet with all of the columns or each of the answers. And you're just going to have to look for the last name, verify by the email address and the birth date, because I asked them to put that in there as well, so you're getting the right family. You can also verify by the kids' names, but I will share that as a Google sheet. If you need it in a different format, let me know. but I wasn't comfortable running out of the office today and sharing it without taking one last quick look at it. But I'll do that after the meeting's over if you all just understand that it's a mess. And
Okay, Pablo, can I
So
ask
basically, we're going to have to call the families probably anyway, just necessarily if we want good suggestions or better suggestions, or.
I don't think so. I think unless you're doing clothes, unless you need sizes for clothes, I think you're going to be all set. I mean, it's up to you, but we asked it's a pretty intense form. I mean, it asks you all kinds of different things like favorite color, favorite sports team, favorite animal, and then it's got a whole checklist of the type of toys they like, their reading level, if they like to read or don't like to read. Interestingly enough, 25% of the kids don't like to read. So those are the ones you need to buy books for.
Hey, Pablo, can I ask a question on the sheet?
Yeah, go ahead.
Will we be able to filter it by the parent's last name or the kid's last name?
Both. Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's going into a straight spreadsheet. I think I separated the parents' first and last name. I know I definitely separated parents' first, last name, and birth date and email. The kids might be one name, I don't know, but you'll be able to sort it whatever way you want. And I suggest, I mean, if this came my way, I would put another sheet right next to it and kind of drag them over into my list and then forget about my sheet. And then you'll have your, 10 to 40 kids that you're dealing with.
Pablo, is it possible to get a copy of the form that they filled out, just a blank copy, so we know?
I sent that to you all, but I'll send it again.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I also put that on the portal, but I'll send that out, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And you actually have access to the live form as well if you wanted to fill it out and see what it looks like.
Okay, thank you.
I think the most important thing is if you're missing a person, let me know and I'll reach out to them, or you can reach out to them. They tend to respond really quickly to me at this point of the game, but you're welcome to reach out to them as well. Any other questions? I really appreciate you doing this year. I know COVID has been incredibly trying for everybody, but the more families I talk to, the more I'm kind of sad that we don't have more assistance programs this year, because the need is just incredibly great and the Christmas Day dinner's not happening. So Christmas for Everyone is full. It filled up this afternoon. And Salvation Army, I haven't heard from them, but they're doing their signups this week, and they traditionally end on Friday regardless of where they're at. So after this Friday, we're going to get phone calls and we're going to have no answers for people because there's really no other assistance left. So any other questions about the toy form? All right, I will share that tonight. Site evaluation, you're all responsible for turning that in a week after. It's usually a week after the Monday after, so that would be like the 21st of December that you'll have to submit yours for your host site. I will be doing a shop for toys, so those of you that feel you're still in need of toys on December 8th, Tuesday, I'll send out something and schedule you to come in. I can't allow more than one church in the building at a time, but I'll have everything set up on tables in the lobby of our office, and you could take whatever you need. And it doesn't have to be 1 to 3. I have that down there just because it's a leftover from last year, but it could be any time that day. Any questions before we move on to, pickup. Thursday, we're not going to have hams this year. Yay! So there won't be a truckload of frozen hams. And there was a question in the chat, so I'll address that now. I think it was Pauline. So there'll be a family of 5 or fewer members in the household get a $30 food card plus a $10 meat/protein card to replace the ham. Families that have more than 5 members in the household will get a $40 food card plus a $10 meat/protein food card. All teenagers will get a $30 gift card. And that's all the expense, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I will also have for you the evaluations that try the best you can to have them fill out evaluations. Actually, I'm thinking right now, yeah, let's not do paper evaluations. How about this? Does anybody have an opposition to me sending the families a link to a survey after Jubilee and doing it electronically? Let's do that then. Actually, I didn't give you a chance to unmute and disagree with me. Anybody really want to hand out evaluations during COVID and give them a pen and take it back and chew on that pen a little? No, we'll do electronic. The Dolly Parton book program still happening. So I will have those forms for you to give to families that have children who are under 5. I think it actually stops when you turn 5. But it's an incredible program because Dolly Parton should be like Queen of the United States. And the kids get a book a month until they turn 5. And they're incredible books. That's being coordinated, I think, by one of the libraries and another agency in town, but we have the forms and we'll get those to you. You could take them on site and send them to me, or you could have them turn them into LUM. If they don't want to pay the postage, we'll be happy to mail them in for them. All right, so we're doing appointments only for pickup as well on Thursday. So I'll send out a sheet for that. So you can sign up for an appointment. Oh, and there might be toys too. So between Tuesday and Thursday, if I have more toys, I'll be handing you more toys. Questions? All right. Day of Jubilee. I know you're all stressed out, but I would encourage you to do something festive. You guys know what a boombox is? You're all younger than me, right? Boombox. Music. I mean, live music wouldn't be bad, but it's, it's up to you. I know that some host sites are going to be giving treats for them to eat in the car. I think one is even doing a breakfast sandwich. Is that right? Heartland? Is that you, Wendy?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could be creative with that. I mean, if you want to give them a little Ziploc with some treats or a cup of cocoa or whatever, that's up to you, but it adds makes it a little bit more special than just curbside, drop in the trunk and leave. And of course, please wear elf outfits and maybe have Santa there in the parking lot waving. Remember family needs, don't be surprised. I know we talked a lot about rides versus delivery. I think it's a great idea that if someone calls and says we need a ride, that you just say, well, how about we just bring you your stuff as opposed to driving to the church to pick it up and then just go home. If you are doing your event early enough in the day and you know that they're home but can't make it and they called you, feel free to deliver those as well. But absent parents, you still can bring those to me. Daycare, is anyone doing daycare? You shouldn't have to do childcare. No childcare this year. No. Spanish language, you'll know if you contact them. If you don't have a translator or Spanish speaking person, and you feel you need one on site, let us know. And photos. I think it's more important than ever to take photos. They're going to be very interesting photos, but it'll capture a moment in time that we'll never forget. You guys are working really hard, so let's document it, and please send those to me. I will share them far and wide and keep them in our archives at LUM. You could email them to me at jubilee@lumserve.org, or you could share them via Dropbox. Google folders are a little trickier, but Dropbox to that jubilee@lumserve.org would be great. If you're having issues figuring all that out, just let me know. Some of you have dropped off flash drives and memory cards, and that's cool too. Okay. After your event is over, I will send out the electronic online evaluation. It says here you're going to drop them off, but you're not going to drop them off. So the families that are unable to attend, please bring those to us packaged and labeled. Gift cards, if you could put them in an envelope and staple them to the top of the bag, that helps so we don't lose them. Speaking of gift cards, I'm going to take a little side note here. I don't know if we've talked about this or not. We might have. But I would strongly suggest that you have people sign for the gift cards. That's one of the issues that comes up from time to time, that someone gets home and they swear that they never got them. And it just puts us in a really tough situation. I don't want you to have to defend yourself. I don't want to have to accuse them of being dishonest. We generally just give them new gift cards. So if signing them, I think, puts a little bit more value on it. They're a little bit more careful not to lose them. Some of you have done some really creative things to make sure they don't lose them. So keep that in mind. And then surplus toys. Yes.
Where are the teen gift cards being purchased this year?
You know, I don't know yet. It's probably going to be Meijer. And that's because Meijer gives us a percentage off. I prefer other places, but it's definitely not going to be Walmart. It might be Target. It's going to be either Target or Meijer, and I know you all prefer Target, but Meier's so much easier to order them, and they give you a couple of percentage points off, which helps a little bit.
Could you let us know, please, when you decide?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
I'll be ordering them probably Monday or Tuesday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And with those, just as a reminder, they sometimes aren't activated until the Sunday after Jubilee or the Monday. Because I don't want to be responsible for activated cards. I don't want you to be responsible for activated cards. So we wait until we get home. Occasionally you'll get a phone call, or I'll get a phone call. You gave me a card that's not activated. It's like, well, why are you in the store trying to cash out your teen's card is the question. And some of them usually reply there was something for $30 that they knew they wanted and they were going to buy it, but that's not the intent of the cards. The intent is they give them the card and they go shopping on their own. But other questions, concerns? Okay, we'll take any surplus toys you have, any surplus household items, any food. It'll all be distributed locally. The food and supplies will probably be distributed through our food pantry at LUM. And the toys, we'll find places for them in town.
Before those tags will come, Christmas tree.
And you're welcome to keep all that stuff too. All right, that's the agenda. Anybody have any questions? Yes. Nancy, do you have a question? You need to unmute.
All right, there you go. If we have them sign for the gift cards, then again, they're rolling down their window and using a pen, and I don't know. We've had the same lady 2 years in a row that insists she didn't get it, and we've had the same lady. And she did it the second year in a row. So, I mean, it would be nice to have her sign that she got it. I hope maybe we won't get her this year, but again, then you have to have a different pen for each family.
Well,
Another
my
way to
plan
do
is
that
to
would be to
bring,
take a picture. Just take a picture with your phone.
there you go. Or just bring a box of pens and hand the pens out.
And say,
They
keep
get a
it.
free pen, have a clipboard that they can sign off on it,
Yeah,
and then they get to keep the pen. And that way
Lo-
you're covered.
right. Okay,
And
maybe we'll get lucky.
if in the past you've reported to me that they claim they didn't get the gift cards, I always make a note of that in the comment section. So some of you may see that in the comments that in, 2018, they claimed they didn't get their gift cards, which is just a way of saying, please make sure that you acknowledge I'm giving you this. Let's remember this moment. Because you can't, maybe that, I don't know, maybe that works, but that's, whatever you're comfortable with, Nancy, I will support that.
Okay,
I just want to make sure we try to lessen the amount of complaints afterwards, whatever way we can.
Get this $30.
Becca?
Just to reiterate, because you said a couple things, when are you planning tonight to give us the list of the gifts, the wish list, or tomorrow?
I wasn't planning on doing it tonight, but I could read the audience and they want it tonight. So I'm the
Tonight.
but it's going to be messy. I was going to spend like, a few hours tonight cleaning up the duplicates and things like that. Yeah, people
Pablo,
will,
Take the time to clean it up. We can wait till tomorrow.
I agree. We can
I
wait till
think we can
tomorrow.
wait too.
all right. If you want it tonight, email me and I'll give you access tonight. If you're okay with me going in and cleaning it up, I'll clean it up. Because they literally, some of them just kept clicking and saying, it's not going through, and clicking again and clicking again. It's like the same thing. Boom, boom, boom. We got the same thing with the registrations as well. I think of the, it took about 680 registration forms to get to 525 because there were so many duplicates and so many people not eligible. And so, yeah.
Pablo, did you talk about where the gift cards for the families, the food one, and then what's considered the protein card? Like what's a protein gift card?
We used to in the past, Elizabeth's a newbie. We used to in the past buy hams and give every family a ham to take home for Christmas dinner. Believe it or not, it's been really difficult to get any local supermarkets to work with us. And we struggled for 3 or 4 years and just decided this is the first year we're going to give them an additional $10 gift card that they could buy whatever meat they want or protein. We're not going to assume that all of our Christmas people are meat eaters either. And believe it or not, we've had people turn in the hams for a turkey in years past as well. Luckily, we had some in the pantry and we can give them one. Does that help?
Not quite, because yes, I remember the ham and passing it out, but so I'm not clear. Is it like a $10 gift card to Meijer that says specifically it's a protein card as opposed to doing?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
It's not going to be Meijer. It's probably going to be Payless. But
it specifically says protein as opposed to
it will have a sticker that we personally put on there. It says $10 meat.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Got it.
And the other ones have stickers on them that say $30 food only or $40 food only.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Pablo, excuse me, I was just looking at my list which did arrive. And I do have one that has allegations of selling gift card on Facebook. I don't have to do anything about that, right? You just
no. No, it's just I don't even know if that was fair for me to put in there, and I apologize.
No, right, but no. I mean, you give it to them, and what they do afterwards, sadly, is unfortunately we have no control over.
And at LUM, we've always had this philosophy that we're not going to go out of our way to catch parents that are cheating.
Right.
You know, I don't look for this stuff, and it always comes from another parent who's calling and ratting out somebody. It's like, I just got home and I saw that toy.
Especially if they're on Facebook and on all these sites that they sell things on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
The lists are here, so.
So we got the meat card thing all straightened out. Elizabeth, Pauline, you guys, I answered your questions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Someone wrote, can you share creative ways hosts keep families from losing gift cards? Did we already address that, Pauline? Oh, yes, we did, I think, because you talked about rolling down the windows and the bends and all that. Yeah, do the best you can. I mean, I think looking them in the eye and giving it to them and then pulling it back and saying, these are gift cards. Don't you forget that I gave you these, and then give it back to them. That way you could call, when they call you, you could say, you remember that what I did to you back and forth? I gave them to you. I don't know.
Oh, no, you said that there are some churches that have creative ways to do it, and I was wondering what those creative ways are.
Oh, good point. Some of you have used creative ways to put the gift cards in big envelopes, or anybody here that does something creative?
Well, you can put the gift card specifically addressed to the teen in a different envelope, right? You don't give them everything all at once. You give it to them all at once, but it's all separate, right? This is for the parents, and these are the gift certificates for grocery, and these are for the teens, and maybe they're addressed to the teens and they're sealed.
Yes.
Right? But does somebody have a better idea than that? Because I'm all for ideas. Or does somebody do it a different way? Oh, okay.
You could put all of it in a big manila envelope and staple it to their scarf.
Like a little kid coming home with their backpack.
There you go.
Big safety pin.
Or put yarn around it and put it over their head or something. Some kind of necklace, or I don't know. Any other ideas? Well, if you do have ideas, share them on the Facebook group that's made for you guys. How's that?
Yes, please.
I'll encourage you to use that group. All right. Any other questions?
I have one more question, excuse me, about the face shields. If that Jada has said she has a lot of, or is donating 75. If we would like to have, say, 4 or something of them, do we need to reserve them ahead of time or with you, or?
Well, let's do that. Just send me an email or something that says you want 4 of them, and I'll have them packaged up with the things you pick up on the 10th, unless you want to pick them up sooner.
Okay, thank you.
What would be a good day and time for me to get you those, Pablo?
Any afternoon, weekday afternoon.
Okay.
Yep. Or you could just drop them off at any day between 8 and.
Okay,
I think we're only open till 3:30 now. And then just
Pablo, I have a question on my spreadsheet.
Yes.
It says it needs Medicaid numbers. Do I have to get that like when I call them, or I mean, how does that work? If they don't have them, we're not giving them stuff. How? I don't understand.
If it says that, I've had a really good conversation with them, and I feel confident they're going to send me that. And some of them might have already done it. That's more of a note for me than you. So just ignore the Medicaid.
Okay.
The ones you really want to look at, some of you are going to get a family tree like you've never seen before. It's, you know, a mom that has her 3 kids living with her who all have kids, and it breaks out who's the parent of whom, and someone in this group is also getting a 14-year-old mom who just had an infant. And usually we don't allow moms to also be kids. So we take them off the kid list, but I left her on the kid list. 14 made me sad, but so she'll get a teen card plus the baby will get toys. Some of you will have infants that aren't born yet. I think we extended it into January this year. There might be one not born until January. Hopefully that's okay with you. Usually it's before the end of the year. Most of your members enjoy buying for newborns, so. Very good questions. Thank you for those. Any others? I'm sure you're going to find mistakes. Just send them my way. No big deal. I will make the changes and send you another list if it's that serious. Other questions? Now the fun begins.
Pablo, I just want to make sure that I'm clear on something.
Okay.
So I'm looking at our list over at St. Tom's, and one of the first families I see has a family tree, we'll call it. And it says there's easily, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, but it says only 3 kids total for the number.
Uh-huh.
So do we go off of that 3 kids, or do we go off of what's listed?
I'm glad you asked that question, because in cases like that, I put an asterisk, I think, next to the first names of the kids that actually have custody of. Is that the case with that one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because if you see the number discrepancy, I'm pretty sure I put an asterisk next to the ones, and I put in the comments only have custody of Cody and Caden, if that's the case. Two very popular names, by the way, Cody and Caden. Other questions? Pauline?
Can you talk about the letters that you are sending them? You're sending them an admission letter, and they should give that to us when they roll down their window and we put their stuff in?
No, no. Well, first of all, you want to make sure that you've got the right family.
Okay.
And they're not just rolling up and rolling by and grabbing some toys. So they're going to have a golden ticket, because I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So there's a golden ticket that has on the flip side of it their family information. So you'll see their name on the back as the head of the household. You'll ask to see an ID to match the ticket, and they can show it to you through the window, and then you're free to go.
Okay. All right.
But they're told they have to have that ticket, to the
We
point
won't
where
give them any gifts. I mean, if they don't have that admission ticket,
call.
Oh.
Another good point. Boy, this agenda was so incomplete. There will be someone in the office from 9 to 5, maybe later. So you just call the main number of LUM, and there'll be someone with a computer screen with all the data. So if you have any questions like that, but honestly, I trust your judgment. If they're on your list and they have an ID and you're comfortable with that, that's fine. You will get some parents who will say, I'm sending another adult, but I send them all to you. You don't need my approval for that, because I send them to you and you could approve that. It's great if they're also on the list as another adult living in the household, but sometimes that's not possible. And of course, you don't want anybody showing up sick. So if someone calls and says, I'm sick, can I send somebody else?
Okay. Yeah. All right. No, we usually have 1 or 2, right, that show up without their admission ticket.
Yeah, and you just check their ID and you've got the list.
Okay.
You've got a detailed list of what, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty strict with them, to the point where I'm printing duplicate tickets right up until the day of. They lost their ticket, so I print another one. Other questions, concerns? Okay, so someone remind me what I promised you. I am going to wait until you email me to see if you want access to that toy form. That's all I'm doing tonight, right? And
but otherwise we will get it tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will. I might even have it for you tonight.
Don't need it tonight. Just need it tomorrow.
Okay. Sleep is.
You know, Pablo, it was on one of the emails that you sent us. I found it.
The toy
The toy form it was. I just looked at it this week.
But you can see the responses?
No, not the response. It's just a blank one.
Okay.
It's a blank.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send that out for those of you that can't find it, because someone did ask about that too. What's on the form?
Okay.
And then I'll send the spreadsheet to those of you that email me. And I'm expecting Gay to send me her email address. And I would be so sad if I didn't take a moment to remember our dear friend that passed away. Very, very sad, and can't imagine what you're going through at First Christian. But she was a force to be reckoned with, and I emailed you all and sent the obituary, but yeah. So very sorry for your loss at that church. I know it's been hard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's adjourn. We'll end this meeting before an hour. Wow. If you see anybody that couldn't make it and they want a encore presentation, I'll be doing this again tomorrow at noon. And yeah, and I'll be available. Just email me. I'm at the point where I could respond to emails really quickly. So that's probably the best way to contact me is through email.
This year especially, thank you for all that you've done, Pablo.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, no, this is a year. We're all working our way through it, but my goodness, you have helped us, and thank you.
It's not been easy. You need to thank my wife because 2 weekends in a row, I've been sitting at the table with putting data in and sorting things, and yeah. So I don't have too much this weekend, so that's good. All right, everyone. Thank you all in advance for all you do. And
thank you, Pablo. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, Pablo, would you mind staying on so I could ask you kind of a separate question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Pablo.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Pablo.
Bye-bye. Good night. Your hair's pulled back, Susie. I like that.
So, Pablo, we'll need to get my email address added on.
Okay.
And I actually had sent you an email earlier this week, and I know it's been crazy for you. It'll be from my Central Catholic
I
email
did
address.
see that, and volunteer changes are way down my list. So yes, I will get to that. No problem. No
Okay. And I'm sorry for that. It was one of those where like I kind of jumped the gun on that before I got involved with the St. Thomas stuff. And so I wanted to make sure that I'm allocating my time wisely there. So
it's not a problem. We don't have trouble filling those volunteer spots, so we'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's why I just wanted to make sure, Pablo. Thanks.
You're welcome.
See you.
Well, I appreciate, Pablo, I appreciate her stepping in and helping me. So
she's a good one. I approve.
That's been a blessing to me. I think God answered my prayers.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It'll be all good. We'll make it happen.
Pablo, the invoice is what the church pays. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they pay for the gift cards. Is that what's on the invoice? The food cards, the teen cards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just give that to St. Tom's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And if they don't pay, I know where to find them.
You do, don't you?
I do. Have
Thanks,
a good
Pablo.
night.
Night.
All right, thanks.